Hi everyone, this is Rajkumar. This video we are going to learn what is data type and what are different data type available in Java. Okay, consider this is the function where I am adding A and B and store the results into C. Consider value of A is 5 and B is 3.5, and if I want to represent this binary, I can represent in 3 bit for 5 and 3.5 can be represented with 5 binary bits, right? So in computer we will store everything in a binary format that we all know. Since it's a constant, we know how much memory or like how many bits of memory it's required to store this information, right? But consider it is a variable. A and B is coming as a parameter to this function, like this A comma B. In this case, computer, how it will identify that how much memory it can allocate for this variable A and B. Okay, since it's a function and A and B are parameter, it won't be a constant. The value can be vary anytime, right? So computer needs to allocate a memory for this parameter whenever we are calling this function, correct? So for that, what computer is asking us is like it is asking us to provide a data type for the particular variable. Okay, let's understand. These are all the function call which we are making, and each and every time we are passing a different value to the function, right? Like a, in the first time a is 3, second time 234, third time it is like higher the value, and similarly first time it's 4.5 for b and 45 points, and third time we are calling with higher precision value, right? So this case a and b are varying every time whenever we are calling, no? So computer should allocate memory for a and b every time when we call this, no? So for that, computer is asking us to, our programmer, to provide some data type for those variable. So basically data type is, okay, this is the data. A is the variable, it will hold some data. What type of data it is and how much memory computer needs to hold or allocate, that programmer needs to tell. Okay, I know that the A I can hold it from 3 to 2,34,456. This is what I am going to use it in my program. So I know that this is the range which I am going to use it, right? So I can define the data type of A is int, which means it can allocate, computer can allocate 4 bytes of memory for a parameter. Okay, and the data type of a will be a numeric non-decimal value. Okay, and similarly let's consider for b I'm keeping it from 4.5 to 45.6678, right? So it could be like I can represent with float itself, I'm giving with double. Whenever computer see like the variable or parameter with double data type, it will allocate 8 bytes of memory for the particular variable and it holds the data. Okay, since when we add a decimal or non-decimal number, definitely the response will be decimal value, right? So double C. So obviously C also can hold 8 bytes of memory. So what is data type? So with this understanding, I can explain what is data type. Data type is the what type of data the particular variable or parameter it holds. That information programmer can give it to computer. This will help computer to allocate how much memory it can keep and how to represent the data in a binary format. If it is decimal or non-decimal, non-decimal representation is different and decimal representation is different. These all will be taken care by computer when programmer define the data type for the variable or parameter. What are different primitive data type available in Java we can see. So when we look into data type, as I already told, data type is the type of data what we have. So basically what type of data we will compute is all are like numeric or non-numeric value, right? Like numeric can be, so first numeric one, Numeric, as I already told, we can differentiate with two different category. One is decimal and other one is non-decimal. Decimal is nothing but like if you have a floating point, like if you have this dot, right, like 4.5 with the precision, with a higher accurate results, if you want to give, then that's actually decimal. And non-decimal, like all whole values, like other than decimal value, if you don't want to keep anything after dot, then that's actually non-decimal value. First of all, what is byte? Name itself shows that like byte can hold 1 byte of data, meaning 8 bits of information it can hold. When we see it's actually 8 bit, the data can be accommodated inside 8 bit. Computer can allocate 8 bits of memory when we define the data type as byte for the particular variable. In Java, default all are signed data type. Even though byte can hold 8 bit, we will have a signed bit, that is a first. Other 7 bits only consider for storing a value what we intended to store. Okay, so 7 bits, if I keep all 1, what is the value? That is 127, right? If I keep all 0, what is the value? That is 0. So and the signed bit, right, signed bit, the possible value is 0 or 1. If it is 0, then that is actually positive. If it is 1, that is negative. So what is the range? Guess that it will be minus 127 to plus 127, right? But that is not a case. Actually it will store minus 128 to 127. 7 bit can hold only value maximum 127. From 0 to 127 it can hold. If sign bit is 1, meaning it is minus negative number, then minus 127 is the possible value, right? That could be your question. Basically computer will store 2's complement format. If you keep in 2's complement, we can store from minus 128. As of now, this is the range for byte. If you are keeping your data type as byte, this is the range. So minimum one is minus 128, maximum one is plus 127. Okay, so let's run this program. See what it shows is like whatever value which we are giving in negative and positive, it is accepting and printing it. Similarly, what is the maximum value for byte and what is the minimum value of byte, it displayed, right? Consider I want to store more than 127 as a byte data type. Will it allow or not? Okay, if it is not allow, what type of exceptions we will get? We will see. I am changing this to 128. It is giving a compiler time error, and what is the error is required type is byte but provided int, meaning we have given a byte as a data type for this variable b, right? So required type is byte and provided int. As I already told, if you are having some non-decimal value, default it will be considered as int, right? So that is why the error what we are getting is the required one is byte but provided int. That is the error which we are giving. Why? Because this is not in the byte range, and if it is not in a byte range, default it will consider as a integer value, and that is why this error is coming. The same for negative case also. If you are giving minus 129, then you will get a same error. Required type is byte and provided as int. Where we will use byte, right? Like when we transfer the data, we will use byte array stream. It will convert a stream of data into byte, then transfer. This is one of the application or the usage of byte data type. Okay, let's look short data type. In this example, minus 129 and plus 128 also accommodated into short data type, right? Meaning it have a wider data range compared to byte. When we define a data type for the particular variable as short, computer will allocate 16 bits of memory for the particular variable or parameter. Okay, so we'll see what is the maximum and minimum range of short. So this is also similar to byte. It will have a signed representation. You can see, right? Like what is the minimum value of this one is minus 32,768. Maximum one is 32,767. Consider going to keep more than data range what short had. chart can have, right? Like I can keep -32797 and 32767. Same error, like it will, the required data type is short and given as int. Why? Because it is not in the data range of short. But as I already told, non-decimal numeric value default computer will consider as integer, or program will consider this as integer. Okay, that is why it is considering this value as integer, and this is not in a range of short. That is why it is giving this required type is short, but it is given as integer. Okay, so this it can hold 16 bits of memory, and one is first one is signed bit and 15 bits can be represented data. So that is why we have 32,768 is a minimum value with negative number, and 32,768 positive number is a maximum value. Okay, then is a integer. Integer is most widely used data type in Java. Currently in this example we can see, right, like whatever value which we have given in higher range of short, it's actually supporting for integer. So integer can hold 4 bytes of memory. So if you are defining some variable or parameter as integer, computer will allocate 4 bytes of memory. Okay, 4 bytes of memory means the range of integer is wider. Like if you see, the maximum value the integer can hold is this one, and minimum value is this one. This itself enough for store a non-decimal numeric value. As I already told, if you are giving some non-decimal numeric value, default computer will consider this as a integer. Okay, so this case consider, like I am trying to give a data which is not, or like it's actually beyond the range of integer. Mostly before, like if we try the same in other cases, right, like what error, compile time error we will get is, like what is the required type is byte or short, and what actual is integer or provided is integer. That is what we will get, right? But this case it is actually integer. We have given the value beyond the integer data range, right? So what is the error we will get is compiler error, that is integer number too large. This is the error we will get. Okay, so how we can avoid that? We have one more data type called long. If we define any variable or parameter as long as data type, what it will do, computer will allocate 8 bytes of memory. So obviously it should have a wider data range. This case, right, like we have given a data which is beyond that data range of integer. Since long can hold 8 bytes of memory data, this value should be accommodated in long, right? But why it is not showing? This is the required type and this is what provider. As I already told, the non-decimal numeric value, Java will consider default data type as integer. Okay, so now this is actually a non-decimal numeric value. So it is considered as integer, and it is checking that is it in the range of integer or not. It is not in the range of integer. That's why it is giving integer number too large. How I can inform compiler, or how the programmer can inform Java compiler to consider this as long? So we need to add a suffix as L. We are explicitly telling computer or compiler or Java that we need to consider this particular value as long. Okay, now what is the error which we are getting? This is also a compiler error. What is the error which we are getting is required type is int, because like we have given int, right, but provide is long. Okay, so how we can fix this one is, like we can keep the data type as long for the particular variable. Since long can hold the data as 8 bytes in memory, right? So maximum and minimum value is more, and the data range also wider. Okay, where we will mostly use this one is, like consider if you are using a database, there the primary key, right? Primary key identifier can be used as long argued. Okay, or other cases is, like if you are trying to read a file, the length of file can be measured as long, because like the character length can be huge, right? It may not be in the integer data range. That is why those cases we will prefer to use long. Till now we have seen non-decimal numeric data type. Now we can look on this decimal numeric data type. Okay, these data types mainly help us to store decimal value under variable or parameter. Okay, so there are two types in decimal numeric data type. There are float and double. If we are giving any non-decimal numeric value, Java will consider integer as a default one, right? Similarly, if we have some decimal value, Java will consider that as double in default. Okay, like later, like how we have added a suffix L to represent that as long. Similarly, if we want to represent the decimal values float, then we need to add a suffix as F. Okay, let's look. First we will look double. When we define data type as double, computer will allocate 8 bytes of memory and the data will be represented in a binary format and stored into memory. And similarly, if we have data type as float, computer will allocate 4 bytes of memory for this. Exactly what is the difference between these two? Before in non-decimal numeric value, what we have seen is like whenever the memory is getting increased, we can store wider data range. Similarly, for decimal point, we can have a more accurate informations, meaning we have higher precision value can be stored in decimal if we have a double comparatively with the float. Okay, first of all we can see what is the minimum and maximum value for double as well as float. I will just explain this with double first. See, it is also support negative and positive number, and the exponent value of maximum value exponent is 308, minimum is minus 324. Okay, this is for double. It can have a higher precision value. Okay, if we are keeping this as float, what is the error now we are getting? Similarly, we are getting a compiler time error. Required type is float provided as default. Java compiler will consider a decimal value as double. If we want to represent that as float, we need to have a suffix as f. This is how we can represent floating point number with the float data type. Okay, so now we can run this. Double exponents range is minus 324 to plus 308, right? Like if we see that in, if we check that for float exponent range from minus 45 to 38. This can show us that like what is the precision which we can support with the double and float. Basically, we can achieve most of the thing with float itself. Whenever we want to have a more accurate high precision value, right, that time we need to use double. To understand that, I will give some example. See, in this example what we have done is we are dividing 10 with 3. Okay, we are storing the result in float in the first case, and second case we are storing the result in double. We'll see what is the response which we are getting. Now we can see that like floating point representation or float data type, we are seeing 7 decimal points, or like after point we are seeing only 7 numbers, right? But in double it is more accurate. We are seeing accurate results and with a higher precision. That is why when these cases, right, if you want to see a higher precision or like more accurate result, then double is preferred. Other than that, float is enough to achieve whatever we want to do. We have seen all numeric data type. Now we need to look non-numeric primitive data type available in Java. So non-numeric data type, there are two available. One is character and another is Boolean. First of all, character is nothing but it's kind of like a single letter, I would say. Basically, in native language, right? See, like when we define a data type as character, computer will allocate 1 byte of memory. So 1 byte means 8 bits. Maximum how many character it can hold? 256 characters, right? But in Java, like if we define the variable or parameter as character, computer will allocate 16 bits of memory. That is 2 bytes. So it can hold 65,536 characters in the range. in native language, right? Like C, since it supports only 8 bits, it can have the character range can have mostly alphanumeric English character along with some special characters. But since Java supports 16 bits for character, right? And it's actually wider range compared to native language, so it can also support multilingual. Multilingual means it is not only English, it Java can support other languages also. Okay, so how basically native language each and every ASCII value has respective character. Similarly, since it supports 16 bits also, each and every value has respective character, but this will be stored in Unicode format. We will look with some example. Okay, if you are giving some value, it is not a character, it will give this error like that. Required type is character, provided double. So what we can do, probably like I can change this like that, 0, and it is actually accepting, right? I can give 65,535. It is accepting since it's a 16 bit wider range, right? Okay, if I change this to 536, it will give error. And what error it can give is like, since it will consider this as integer and it is not in a character data range, it will give that required type as character but given as integer. Yeah, same error, right? Provided as integer. We'll see what is the minimum and maximum range. We can see, right, that this is 0 is a minimum one. That is what we are seeing in here, null. And similarly, minimum data range it shows as null, and maximum is 65,535. That is what we are seeing here. If we give some other integer value between the range of 0 to 65,535, the respective character it will display. Maybe probably we can take 98. 98 is B, and this is some character, maybe like space or something. It's comma. Okay, so this is what character. Okay, next data type is Boolean. Boolean will have only two value, one is true and other one is false. Okay, where exactly we'll use true or false is like, if the condition is true, it will return true, otherwise it false. So mostly in a comparison area where we will use this Boolean data type. For example, in Boolean we don't have any maximum and minimum value since it has only two value, right? So we can remove this, and now we can see this one, right? Like 5 is less than 6, 5 is greater than 6. This case, what is the compiler error we are getting is the required type is character but provided Boolean. We'll see. Okay, first statement is true and second statement is false. And also if we want, like we directly we can give, yeah, you can directly also queue like this, it will give the results. Okay, now we understood what are all different data types which is available in Java. First of all, what is data type in Java is the type of data what we are going to store it in variable or parameter is called data type. So different data type available. One, numeric, non-numeric. Numeric we have non-decimal and decimal value. So for storing those value we have data type like that. For numeric non-decimal we have byte, short, int, long. For storing numeric decimal value we have float and double as a data type. For non-numeric value we have character data type for storing a characters as letters. And Boolean as a data type which will store true or false. It's kind of like mainly used for comparison purpose. Okay, hope you understood everything clearly. Thanks for watching.